G'day everyone. I'm just throwing this as an intro to all of these videos I'm about to upload. These are all spearfishing info videos from Patreon. The Patreon people that I spoke with said they wouldn't mind if these eventually went on YouTube. There's about 9 hours of spearfishing info stuff. Nothing fancy, just me talking to a GoPro on various topics, but it will probably help quite a few new divers because there's like 9 hours of just absolute... I cover everything I've sort of ever learned in the scene. With regards to me spearfishing, probably not a reality at the moment. I was just diagnosed with a disorder called ME a few years back. Stupidly tried to hide it. Shouldn't have actually, because if I come out with these things I can help other people that are struggling through them. But yeah, I haven't even been able to make this video for the last 4 days because I've been and now yeah, I've got enough energy today. But yeah, you can watch the Future of Aquatic Rehab spearfishing video if you want to know more on that. For anyone that wants to help me through this, I will put my PayPal in here. Feel free if you think you're getting value out of this, because sort of everything helps with this. But otherwise, no pressure. Just go out and send us pictures of the fish that you're smashing. And yeah, hope you guys get some info. G'day crew. Sitting down at the beach looking at the weather, looking at the water and the weather. It's a big nor'easter coming in. Well, not big, but yeah, just a nor'easter. And I had a message come through. Someone asked about like using chum in New Zealand, chumming. And I thought I'd have a chat about that, and that's something I've given zero thought to before talking about it. So as I say, sometimes just bear with us if I sort of stall while I'm thinking. But so for anyone that doesn't know, anyone that's new, chumming or like cubing is basically a way to like bait the water. In the tropics, if you are like targeting like, I don't know, all sorts of fish, dogtooth and stuff like that, and some like real hungry desperate reef fish like jobfish and bloody all sorts of stuff likes to get involved in it. Your jobbies and your what's the other one? There's one that you chum in that's really good for chum. It's full of ciguatera, red snapper. And that action of feeding, fish coming in and feeding creates a bit more action. Other fish can come in. You get bloody on tropical drops. You can get bloody all sorts, jobbies and GTs and those red snappers and even like some emperor species and stuff moving in for a look. MSPs and shut up dog and all sorts. And it's very good for creating action, and obviously your dogtooth and so I don't know if I said that, but alongside a flasher can be quite a good technique. So you're just trying to maximize or draw fish into the area that you're working, especially with big viz. It's quite handy. It's gonna it's and bringing in obviously sharks come in and it creates a bit of commotion in the water. So in New Zealand it's a bit of a different buzz, because, and I've done it before, and there are places where you chum quite, it's a bit of a different buzz, but I've shot snapper on chum in open water, obviously kingfish, and so where I think about chumming in New Zealand would be, and I'm going to say sometimes like weed lines in that too. If your weed line's a little bit dead, so I'm going to start on weed lines. So obviously weed lines are your like John Dory and your boarfish and kingies and that come through, and so everything comes through, but it's more you're looking for your sort of weed liney type fish in there. When you're diving a weed line, if there's a good bit of current and it's sort of moving you and your buddy down the weed line and it's nice clean water, you do your drop and there's bugger all to shoot, or there's you get a lot of goatfish and mau mau and stuff hanging out. If you get into an area that's holding a lot of fish, let's say you drift over an area that's full of mau mau and bait and stuff, get out of my face, river. On your drop you might shoot a
a stab or shoot a goatfish or a blue or something like that, come back up to the surface, and then like your buddy's diving, and then just start cubing a bit in that sort of fishy kind of zone, and just let that sort of dust on down, and you might have bloody dory or kingies or whatever come in, or you might see snapper down there, like, you know, the odd snapper that's sort of down there that's not looking right. You know, if you're diving sort of past 10, 12 meters, 15 meters or whatever, it's quite, you know, the fish is quite far away, they might not look up at you, and you can see, you'll see the little bits of bait sort of wobbling as like little fish will come in and start bashing it, and it's just a way to sort of maximize the chance of that on that drift along that weed line or whatever. Obviously bronzies and stuff come in too, so if you've got a problem with sharks, chummings, just expect sharks to come in. So, they don't always do, but that's how you get sharks to come in, by burleying. But I find that I like doing that. Like, that's something that I'll very often I'll do, without thinking about it. I'll stab or shoot something, like a bit of bait, and then I'll chum it on a weed line. Now, I guess it's the same on your pins and stuff. It depends. If you're in a real hardcore sharky area, I don't really. I normally just like break open and throw kinna over ledges and stuff. And kinna are quite a good bit. Like, kinna bring in, like, a bit of bait can come in on kinna, and then it can bring kingies in. For example, the other day I shot a kingy. I said to my mate, we were doing a few drops and there's no current, and I said to him, let's but I said, let's go get some kinna, I think. And I said to him, it normally brings the kingies in here, or quite often it'll bring kingfish in. And we scooted over, got a couple of kinna, broke them open, dived, and then shot kingfish off them, off the kinna straight away, just by creating a bit of that commotion and stuff going on, and yeah. It sort of brought all a ball of mau mau and a ball of bloody coeys and stuff. So just sort of like, it just made this centralization of all the fish that were up on that sort of pressure point of reefs that are kind of dotted. It kind of like just brought things in a bit, and that in turn brought in the school of kingfish. So that's something I do. I don't really like to throw meat around on that spot because it's filthy and there's lots of sharks around. But if it's nice and clean, yeah, it's something that I do actually do. When I started talking about this, I was thinking, no, we don't chum in New Zealand. I'm not really gonna. That's not something I'm gonna get into. But now that I think about it, quite often I'm doing it, and it's almost like subconsciously. It sounds quite hard case, but subconsciously killing fish and chopping them up. So yeah, out on, like, say you go to some crazy offshore pin where you got bloody, I don't know, starts at 10 meters and drops away to infinity or whatever. Those are the kind of places where, like, if you could swim up away into the current and let your chum drift down onto that frontal wall, so you may be swimming 30 to 50 meters up into that current, shoot a blue, or something like that, you know, just carwai, freaking trevally, something like that. And let's say if you're filming or you're mucking around, or you and a couple of mates in the water, that's just bait, it's just chum. It's like what fishermen do to get fish in. And even if nothing comes in, it's cool to watch even a little snapper and fish come up and just feed. I think it's quite nice to just dive down on those cubes, and you know, that's sort of going to show you what's there. So yeah, I do actually use it in New Zealand, but I do use it more often in cleaner water, and I do use it a lot on weed lines. So you just have to be aware of the sharks. Be quite happy to see sharks, and quite happy to have sharks come in while you're holding a dead fish and you're still cutting it up. That's something that I do quite often and don't really care. So yeah, that's a bit of an intro to that, I guess. I think that one thing that sort of resonated throughout this one is it's part of a teamwork thing. You don't, you know, you and your dive buddy are doing drops together, and you're working as a unit, and you're bringing up bait and chumming it, and then your dive buddy's going down and he might be doing the same thing, and you're creating a bit of you know, bit of an attractant in the water there to sort of near where you are. So yeah, that's probably about it for that, I guess. I think I've already had a yarn about your flashes and stuff, and just too much drama to bloody hold on to and use really in these sort of situations, unless you're at a bloody white island or something. You got some massive, you're on a side of a underwater mountain and you've got a big reef there, and you know that it's clean as, and the fish are down to 40 meters, and you want them up to bloody 18 or 15 or whatever, you can have your flasher there. But not for your general diving, not really. I'm not really using them because you are a flasher if you act right. So yeah, I hope you guys got something from this one. And if you have any questions, just get us in the comments down below. And if you have further, I can't make videos without suggestions, because now we're in a bloody half a year now and it gets a bit thin on what I should talk about, so I need suggestions. So thanks to the person that asked that one. And yeah, we'll looking forward to a few more questions coming in, no matter how obscure or you think they are or whatever, just spearfishing stuff. And I'd like the ones where it's like, what am I doing wrong? Oh, this happens to me all the time. Am I doing something wrong? Or, you know, something like that. So sweet. Alright, we'll catch you on the next one.